All right. Story time. This is the next part of the story about my business partner and other affiliates getting locked up behind some nefarious activity. And I was talking about taking responsibility. We all have to take responsibility for our actions, because we are responsible for the results that we get. And even if you, like I said, allowed someone in the camp and you knew they were doing shady dealings, or, I shouldn't say you knew they were doing shady dealings. If you knew they had done something that was a little shady before, then you maybe should have cut them out at the beginning. You know what I mean? And I remember my former business partner telling me, because I was like, why do you continue work with these people? They're snakes, And he said to me, it's okay to work with a snake as long as you know that they're a snake. And I didn't feel that, And I felt like, why would you work with a snake? Because if you work with a snake, the snake could bite you, and you willingly went into business with a snake, you know what I mean? And then you see that the person on a little deal didn't return the funds. Like if a person didn't return $5,000, then what do you think a person's going to do when they have millions of dollars? If they didn't return 5,000, you get what I'm saying? So, but you know what? Everybody learns their lessons. Everybody gets to reflect. And I'm happy that I was protected from that side of the business. And it's really interesting because when I first got there, I wanted to learn everything. I'm a go-getter. I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to do everything. But at the beginning, my former business partner was really, really mean. And whenever I would try to learn his side of the business, he was mean to me. And I was like, I don't deserve this, And so I learned to stay on my side of the road. And I let him be him, and I stayed over here, and I was me. And he did his thing, I did my thing. And I didn't get into the minute detail, the minutia of his side. And his side is the side that went to hell, right? And so I just stayed on my side, and I became excellent at my side. I was able to duplicate myself. I was able to step away and create other businesses because I was able to duplicate myself and in the business that we had. And so I remember at one point, I had about 10 different businesses at the same time because I knew how to train and I knew how to help people to become successful. And I learned on the journey how to stop micromanaging. I learned how to allow people to drop the ball and really grow. And that was a challenge because I would have these perfect pictures and I would be micromanaging everything. And then I had to learn how to step back. And to step back was a little scary for me because I had to watch people drop a ball and not go pick it up or catch it before it hit the ground, because that's what I used to do. And, but I helped a group of people become very strong. And to this day, they're in business for themselves and doing very well, and they still remember the principles and the things that were instilled in them through working with me all those years ago. And that makes me feel good because to me, I feel like that's a mark on lives that was on purpose and for great purpose, But back to the other side of the story, I used to feel very protected. And at this time, I didn't know why I was so protected. And I felt like him being mean and me making a decision I'm not going to even participate in that side of the business because I'm not dealing with you and that funkiness that you be putting off. I'm not doing that. And so I felt like that was my collective team, my ancestors, guides, and angels. That was God. That was Source Creator. That was my whole team protecting me from day one from getting deep into the minute shitaga of that part of our business. And I'm just so forever grateful for everything. In the moment, it did not feel good. Dealing with him as a business partner it did not feel good. People used to come through the door and they would want my position, and they didn't understand why I had my position. They'd be like, how'd she get that position? How's she 50-50 partners in business? That should be my position. Everybody felt that. Our builders, our accountants, everybody that dealt with us, and it was all men. But then the women that would come through, they would want my position as well. And I recall getting on stage sometimes because I used to speak like maybe 5 or 6 times a week, and I'd do presentations. Well, we all did. And I remember one time giving an example, and I had my shoes on stage, and I took my shoes off and I held them up, and I was like, you see these shoes? These are size 8.5. How many of y'all wear size 8.5? And then I was telling them, you don't know what it takes to walk in these shoes. Even if you are size 8.5, you don't know what it takes. You don't know the amount of days I go home and I cry. You don't know the turmoil I feel inside sometimes. You don't know what it's like being this man's partner. You don't know, but you want to rip me apart. You want to stab me in my back because you want this position, but you don't really know what this position really looks like. So I remember saying that, and I don't know who got it, who didn't. I mean, it was something else. And that was a serious journey. And then to see how that phase of the journey ended with those people going to jail. And this was after I left. I left the business, and he was supposed to buy me out. He didn't. He reneged on his deals, his contractual agreement with me, so he didn't finish buying me out. And but I left the business because it was just time. And I knew, I don't know why I knew, but I knew it was time for me to leave. And I remember, you know what? I'm going to get back into how I left in the next one.